All right, my friends, today is Friday, May 14th, 2021, and this is my very first video in our brand new home. We had this home built for us, and it's so nice. It's the first time I've ever had a house quite this nice. So I'm enjoying it, and I've been out of pocket with YouTube lately because of everything that's been going on. I've got a lot of catching up to do, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching and listening. And if you end up liking this video, I appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and share it with others. Now, I'm going to share something with you that occurred in my life yesterday that left a positive impression on me. Okay? So I would appreciate it if you would hear this out and leave your comments down below and tell me of something that impacted you in a similar fashion. Okay. So yesterday I was working. I stopped for lunch at my usual time, which is about 2 o'clock p.m. And I went to my usual place, which is Subway. I love Subway. I don't like going to McDonald's or Burger King or anything like that. I don't want that in my stomach during lunch. So I stopped at Subway, and I always get a small meal. I'm a light eater for lunch, and I got the 6-inch BMT. It's delicious. I get it on Italian herbs and cheese. The bread, it's really good bread. But I load it up. I do. I load it up. And BMT, if you don't know, stands for bigger, meatier, tastier, which coincidentally is how my wife describes me. Well, I'd like to think so, but it's just not the truth. But anyway, so I got the BMT. The chips I picked out were the Miss Vicky's jalapeno chips. And if you've never had those, they're to die for. I can never get enough, and if I could find them in big bags, I'd order them by the box full, which I probably need to do. So anyway, I served myself Dr. Pepper, which is my favorite soft drink, sat down and displayed my food out in front of me in a very organized fashion. And I always read during lunch. That's typically what I do. I read, and at the moment, I'm reading Bad Monkey by, I guess, Carl Hyacin. I'm not sure how you say his last name. He's from Florida. He's got a series, quite a few books out, and it's kind of like a funny detective novel, very eccentric, and it's kind of a fun read. But anyway, that's what I had out in front of me, and that's how I enjoy spending my lunch. It's just a nice break. Well, at the time, during that time, a young man came in and was ordering food. That left him and I as the only patrons in the restaurant. And most people at Subway get their food and they go, they leave. But he decided to sit down. He sat down 2 tables away from me. It's a very small Subway, by the way, so there's not a whole lot of room. And and I really hadn't been paying much attention to him. And as he started to sit down, he got back up before he got his butt planted all the way in the seat, and he turned around and he started speaking to me. And just judging by the look on his face, I didn't measure any hostility. But I guess I made the assumption he was probably going to ask me to watch his items on the table, so he could either go run back to his car or go to the restroom, because that's happened before. And I would have answered in the affirmative. Yeah, absolutely, I would. But that's not at all what he had in mind. You know, he said to me, or he asked me, I should say. He asked me. He said, "Listen, I forgot my earbuds, and I really want to watch a video, but I see that you're reading a book, and I don't want to bother you. You don't mind if I listen to a video, do you?" No. No. No, I don't. I said, "Listen, the radio in this store is so loud, I probably won't hear it anyway." But I said, and I told him, I said, "Listen, I am impressed that you have that level of thoughtfulness, of mindfulness. You are that in tune with the people around you that you actually care about others, um, and you actually take them into consideration." I said, "I've never had anybody ask me that, but I'm quite impressed, and I thank you for your kindness. But by all means," at that point, I mean, the guy, eh, you know, he wasn't going to offend me because he made such a charitable gesture and showing that he is the kind of person who thinks of others. And he said to me, he goes, "Well, listen, I saw that you're reading your book, and I wouldn't want somebody bothering me." And I go, "I have never in my life had anybody say anything like that within my hearing." And I was just I thought about that. It was that in and of itself was almost a distraction to me throughout my whole lunch because I was very impressed by him. Not just because he was a young man, because it would have impressed me if it was anybody. We live in a world where people are more concerned about their own wants, needs, and desires above anybody else. Most people have a screw you attitude. They don't care what you think. They don't care what you're doing. And quite frankly, nobody owes me that. They can sit down and do what they want, whether I like it or not. And to be honest with you, one of my pet peeves is when I'm sitting down having lunch or dinner in a restaurant and somebody opens up their phone and listens to loud videos uh, and doesn't care a thing in the world about anybody around him. And it annoys everybody. It's not just me. But I will say that when he listened to his video, it was barely audible to me. you know? So he still did it with some level of concern. But it is one of my pet peeves. But but anything he could have done at that point was mitigated by the fact that he said something kind. He showed um, an interest in others, you know. So that it made me wonder who the influences were in his life. Was it his parents? Was it a teacher, a coach, a mentor? Maybe good books, maybe good videos. I'll never know unless I run into him again. And I hope I do run into him again because I'd like to buy him lunch and find out what makes him tick. Here's the point that I want to make in this video. And that is, first of all, if someone demonstrates virtue to you, make sure that you encourage them to continue that behavior by thanking them, by complimenting them, by showing your gratitude for their attitude. Yeah. Because it's hard enough to be kind in a world where people only think of themselves. It's hard enough to not conform to the ways of this world. It really is. So make sure that you encourage others to continue good behavior by pointing it out and showing that you appreciate it, that you're somebody who finds value in it. If it influences you, repeat it, imitate it, emulate it to somebody else. Let it make a positive impression on you to the point that you question yourself and ask, do I do the same thing? How could I do that to somebody else? What's funny is over the past month, several times people have paid for my food when I've been in back of them in drive-through. People who had nothing to gain. It's really weird. I've had kind of a rash of this. At a different Subway, another man whom I was talking to in front of me paid for my meal. He had nothing to gain from it. And it's just crazy. There's things like that that do occur from time to time. I'm always floored by it. And what I will say, full admission here, full transparency, is I don't think I've ever been quite as charitable as they have been. So shame on me. But it still impresses me. And I really hope I run into this guy again, because like I said, I'd like to buy him lunch. But there are people out there like this in this world. And you can be one of them. I can be one of them. And so I'm encouraging you to do that. But make sure that if it happens to you, you encourage those people who did it, They probably need to hear it. I'm sure that there's probably plenty of times that they show kindness and virtue, and it goes unchecked, and it goes unnoticed. That's not good either, right? So be wise. Think about that. Adopt that into your life. Adopt that into your way of thinking. Let it become a part of who you are. Let it weave its way into the fabric of your soul and change the way you live your life. Because this is an encounter this encounter with this young man is certainly one I'll never forget. I was quite impressed that he would take the time to consider what a stranger would think or feel by his actions. That's something else to me. I hope it is to you. All right, guys, I thank you for your time. I hope you have a great day. Be wise.